our video presentation.
We are from Group 1 and today we will talk about the Pancasila. Pancasila is the foundation of the Indonesian state. So please stay tuned and enjoy our presentation.
Pancasila is the foundation of the states, means that Pancasila is the primary foundation for organizing national and state life in Indonesia. This means that all matters relating to government, law, politics, social affairs, culture, and the economy must be based on Pancasila values. The meaning of Pancasila is the basis of the state. First, the highest source of the law. Two, the basis for organizing the state. Three, the principle of national unity. Four, guidelines for living as a nation and the state. 5. Reflection of the nation's personality. And the last one is goals of the state.
The meaning of each Pancasila. First, believe in one Almighty God, which means freedom of religion. 2. Just and civilized humanity, which means upholding human rights. 3. The unity of Indonesia, which means maintaining the integrity of the nations. 4. Democracy guided by the service of wisdom in deliberation and representation, which means led by a strong leader with a high social awareness. And the 5. Social justice for all Indonesian, which means equitable prosperity.
The objectives of Pancasila are: the first, it is the foundation and direction of state administration. The second, it is the source of all laws. The third, it is to maintain national unity. Fourth, it is to realize justice and prosperity. And finally, it is a guideline for achieving national goals. In addition to its objectives, Pancasila also has benefits, namely, the first, it is a guideline for national and state life. The second, it unites a diverse society. The third, it is a moral and ethical foundation. Fourth, it guides behavior to be fair and civilized. And fifth, it aims to create a prosperous society.
The objectives of Pancasila. The first, as the foundation of the state, Pancasila serves as the fundamental basis of the Indonesian state. It provides the main principles that guide the government in managing the country, making decisions, and formulating politics. Every state activity must be aligned with the values of Pancasila so that national life runs in an orderly, fair, and responsible manner. The second, laws originate from the values of Pancasila. Pancasila is the source of laws and regulations in Indonesia. This means that every law must reflect the values of justice, humanity, democracy, and social welfare contained in Pancasila. By using Pancasila as the legal foundation, Laws are accepted to protect citizens' rights and create social order. The third, unity in diversity. Pancasila aims to unite the Indonesian people despite difference in ethnicity, religion, culture, and language. Through the values of mutual respect and tolerance, Pancasila strengthens national unity and prevents conflict. It encourages Indonesians to live together peaceful as one nation. The fourth, social justice and public welfare. One of the main objectives of Pancasila is to achieve social justice and public welfare for all citizens. It promotes equal opportunities, fair treatment, and balanced development so that every individual can enjoy a decent standard of living. This objective ensures the progress benefits the entire society, not only certain groups. And finally, Pancasila is a guide toward the national's ideals. Pancasila functions as a guideline in achieving the nation's ideals and long-term goals. It directs the Indonesian people toward independence, unity, peace, and prosperity. By practicing the values of Pancasila in daily life, the nation can move steadily toward a just and proper. Pancasila also has benefits. The first, Pancasila guides decisions and governance of the state. Pancasila serves as the main guideline for the government in making decisions and managing the state. All politics and actions should reflect its values so that governance is fair, responsible, and focused on the people's interest. The second, Pancasila unites difference into one nation. Pancasila brings together people from different ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds. It promotes tolerance and mutual respect, helping Indonesians live in harmony as one united nation. The third, Pancasila builds moral and ethical values. Pancasila shapes moral and ethical principles in society. It encourages individuals to act honestly, responsibly, and respectfully in both personal and social life. The fourth, Pancasila encourages fair and civilized behavior. Pancasila teaches people to treat others fairly and with dignity. It promotes justice, humanity, and civilized behavior in daily interactions. And finally, Pancasila aims to create welfare and prosperity. Pancasila aims to achieve social welfare and prosperity for all citizens. It emphasizes equal opportunities and balanced development so that everyone can enjoy a decent and prosperous life.
Examples of the application of each principle. First principle of Pancasila, belief in one supreme God. The application of the first principle in everyday life is freedom to worship according to one's religion and mutual respect among religious communities. With the existence of religious differences in Indonesia, we are taught to always have a high level of tolerance towards those of different religions, not to mock or insult them, and to always live in harmony. Second principle of Pancasila, just and civilized humanity. The application of the second principle in everyday life is to recognize the equality of all human beings and to live together without discriminating against others based on their background. Examples include helping others without discrimination and not bullying. Third principle of Pancasila, unity of Indonesia. The application of the third principle in daily life is to always prioritize national unity and integrity. Examples include participating in community service in the neighborhood and always protecting the environment. Fourth principle of Pancasila, democracy guided by the wisdom of deliberation in representative conclaves. The application of the fourth principle in everyday life is like deliberation to determine the class president. This principle emphasizes being wise and always prioritizing deliberation to reach a mutual agreement. Fifth principle of Pancasila, social justice for all Indonesian people. The application of the fifth principle in everyday life is to respect the rights and obligations of others and always be fair to others without discrimination.
Implementation of Pancasila is the foundation of the Indonesian state or state foundation. Has various critical benefits for national life. Pancasila serves as a philosophical foundation. The Kai has legal basis and a unifying force for the diversity of Indonesian society. The following are the main benefits of implementing Pancasila as the foundation of the state. The first is unifying the nation on diversity or national glue. Pancasila acts as a unifying tool that binds the various ethnicities, religions, races, and groups or plurality in Indonesia into a single unit, the Unitary State of the Republic of Indonesia. It embodies the principle of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity, which allows difference to be valued with a unified national framework. The second is source of a legal source. Pancasila is the highest basic norm that serves as a reference for all laws and regulation in Indonesian. All laws enacted must not conflict with the values of Pancasila. The third is direction goals of national development. Pancasila provides clear guidance and direction regarding the goals of the state, namely to create a just, prosperous, and civilized society, both materiality and spirituality. Fourth is national moral and ethical. Guidelines Pancasila serve as a filter against foreign cultures and a guide for behavior or ethics for citizens and state administration, ensuring they remain civilized and uphold integrity. The fifth is core trait of freedom of religion. The first principle belief in one almighty God governs the freedom of every citizen to embrace a religion and worship according to their respective beliefs and promotes inverted harmony. Next is the wise foundation of democracy. Pancasila underpins Indonesia's democratic system, which priorities deliberation for consensus or the fourth principle, rather than authoritarianism or absolute majority rule, just decisions. And the last, position against radical or foreign ideologies. Pancasila prevents the entry of extreme ideologies that conflict with the national identity, or such as atheism or communism, which could undermine the fabric of national life.
The next is an example of the case. The case is corruption of social assistance funds. Corruption of social assistance funds is an abuse of state money that should be used to help poor and vulnerable people. As a result of this corruption, the amount of aid received by the community is reduced and does not reach those who truly need it. The impact of corruption greatly harms society because the distribution of assistance becomes uneven. This situation increases poverty and with it social inequality within the community. In addition, corruption damages public trust. People lost confidence in the government and state institutions that are responsible for distributing social assistance fairly and transparently.
The following are real cases that actually occurred in Indonesia related to corruption of social assistance funds. One widely known case is the COVID-19 social assistance corruption scandal that took place between 2020 and 2021, involving the Minister of Social Affairs at the time. This case drew strong public attention because it happened during the pandemic when many citizens were experiencing severe economic hardship. Funds from food assistance packages were illegally dedicated, which significantly reduced both the value and quality of the aid. As a result, many beneficiaries received poor quality food supplies. This act violated humanitarian principle and social justice, as it exploited people who were already in a vulnerable situation. Another case emerged in 2023 to 2024, involving corruption in the distribution of rice assistance under government welfare programs. Irregularities in procurement and distribution led to substantial financial losses for the state. In several regions, rice assistance was found to be unfit for consumption withheld. This situation reflects a lack of social responsibility and contradicts the principle of fairness for all citizens. Corruption in social assistance programs is not limited to high-level officials. It also frequently occurs at the village and regional levels. Some local officials were involved in cutting cash assistance funds under the justification of administrative costs or equal distribution. In 2024, multiple cases were reported in different regions, where housing assistance funds were unlawfully reduced by local facilitators. Such practices represent a betrayal of public trust and the violation of citizen economic rights. In conclusion, corruption in social assistance programs causes serious harm not only to the state's finance, but also to moral values and public trust. Therefore, strong supervision and strict law enforcement are essential to ensure that social assistance truly reaches those who need it the most.
Thank you for watching.